Now Brandberg, this is art. Now this is one of the biggest sectors of game development. It can be one of the most successful sectors. It can be one of the best defining sectors for a game's success. It can also be complete and utter failure. Listen to Anna, don't fail.
Hi. My name's Anna, and I'm going to start off by asking, who here is a gamer? Show of hands. That's pretty much everyone, that's most people. Who enjoys playing Minecraft? Splatoon? The Sims? Candy Crush? Fortnite? Okay, so if you enjoy playing games and you play games regularly, then you are, per definition, a gamer. So let's try that question again. Who here is a gamer? That's better. Great. So, actually wait, before I go to that. For the past 4 years, I worked at a tiny little company called EA. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. I worked on a couple of different games, but yeah, so here's a little sizzle reel from the studio where I was at the past couple of years. It's called Firemonkeys. It's in Melbourne. We have sound. There is no sound, and I can't put the sound on. It's grayed out. I'll speak a little bit about what to do if you're interested in pursuing a games career as well as an artist. So, as I said before, in case you can't see me down here, that's me over there as well. As you can see from the photo, I'm a huge League of Legends nerd, and feel free to come chat to me about that afterwards if you like. And I am a UI UX designer. And I know many of you may be wondering what that is, and in complete honesty, I didn't actually know what that was until I started working in games either. So don't worry, I'll explain it all to you in a little moment. But I started off a little bit kind of where you are now, except I was in Sweden, and I had no idea what it was I wanted to do with my life. I applied for a whole bunch of courses that I thought seemed interesting, and I ended up doing a degree called Design and Visual Communication, which is basically just a fancy way of saying it's a bachelor's in graphic design. And I think that this is really important to tell people because it's okay to not know what it is you want to do. I had no idea, and I thought that I just kind of slipped and fell into something that suited me, and that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to do that and just kind of wing it and figure it out. Apply for something that you're passionate about, and you'll find your way naturally as that progresses. So I got my first job straight out of uni, which is amazing, and I got to work at a board game company. And this, I thought immediately, was my dream job. But after a little while, I got bored, and I didn't really feel very fulfilled. Sweden is an amazing country, but it's very dark and cold for the majority of the year. So I was just like, to hell with everything, we're going to move to Australia. And so I did. And when I was pretty new here, a friend of mine told me to apply for a job at EA, and I did not think I could do that. I was convinced I was underskilled, underqualified, undertalented, but I'm also stubborn as all heck, so I applied anyway, and it turned out that they wanted to hire me. And apparently I was good, and I was just doubting my own abilities. So again, another thing that I would love for you to take away from this is to just, whatever it is that you think you might want to do, just go for it. Because if you don't try, you'll definitely not get the opportunity. So at least try. And so I began my career in the games industry. And I found my niche in digital games and exploring how people interact with them. And I found my feet within UI and UX design on The Sims Freeplay. And this is a mobile game that's been going in live service for about 7 years now, which is a really long time for a mobile game. And I learned so much working there. And after 4 years on The Sims, I moved on to Need for Speed. And again, such a formative change, learning so much about teams and processes. But one of the main things that I learned working in the games industry here was that I had convinced myself growing up that gamers were mostly just boys. And in fact, what I learned is that about half of the gaming community are women. And another thing I learned was that the community of game developers, only about 12.5% of developers were women at the time. And now it's a lot better. Now we're at about 20%, but still, that needs to change. I still feel that the developing community needs to accurately reflect the consumers. And so I'm very passionate about encouraging young girls and young women to pursue a career in games as well. This is something that you can totally do. Another thing I discovered was that there are so many more jobs within games than I first thought. I thought there's basically 3 jobs. You're a programmer, an artist, or a designer. Wrong. There are more jobs than I can count. And these are basically just umbrellas. And I didn't even realize there was an entire 4th category of what we call the invisible jobs, which are the jobs that happen behind the scenes. So there's, your producers, your development directors, your community managers. These all come in the running of a business and are also incredibly important. But yes, so whatever it is that you're interested in, there is guaranteed a role within games that completely suits your particular skill set. You don't need to be an artist to work in games. You don't need to be a programmer to work in games. Whatever it is you're into, trust me, there is something that works for you. But since I'm speaking specifically about art roles, within the art umbrella, for example, here's just a few of the kinds of roles that exist within art. And at a smaller studio, you may find that one person does several of these things, and then at a bigger studio, you'll find that people will specialize and only do one single specific thing. So let's start with different roles. Concept artists. Game art often begins with the concept artists. And this is a concept from The Sims Freeplay, from a Christmas update a few years ago. And concept artists is so important because everyone has a different brain. Everyone imagines things differently. And so having artists that create this concept, it helps align the entire team so that we all know exactly what it is we're working on. And then that was the final product of what it ended up, which brings us to our 3D modelers. 3D modelers will start by building models in 3D programs as if they're made of clay. And then afterwards you paint the surface by creating a texture for it. And Tess is going to tell you a little bit more about this later. But each model that you see in the game is actually just made up of lots of little painted squares and triangles. Literally everything. And then we have our environment artists. This is from Need for Speed. And these are particularly important because it doesn't just set the location of the game, but it also helps set the mood for the game. So when you load into a game that looks like this, you immediately know that you're going to expect something very different to this, for example. And our character artists, they take concepts from abstract ideas and take them to fruition. And they create the actual characters that you then play and interact with in a game. And this involves taking the personalities that a designer has written for the game and created in their heads, and you give them a physical face and a form. And character artists can also work with real life people. So in some games we need to recreate actual people. So we have character artists that work with what we call likeness capture. Over here is one of the quarterbacks from a game called Madden NFL. And so a real person will go in and do likeness capture, and a 3D artist will then recreate them in 3D inside the game so that someone else can go in and play as them. Technical artists, they act as a bridge between art and programming. So often a technical artist will create tools that help make an artist's life easier, and they can automate repetitive tasks. So in Need for Speed, for example, if we need to create a pile of tires or fences around a racing track, this is a great tool. So instead of having an artist that manually sits there and creates every single tire and places them and creates shadows and all of that, a technical artist can write a script where you create one tire and then you make little piles of it. And it just makes that life so much easier. Or instead of having to create a racing track with fences all the way around it manually, you create one little strip of fence and then you drag it and you can instantly create fences around big objects. So they just help make everyone's life a lot quicker and easier. And our animators are another crucial part of the team. These two are animations that you might recognize from Sims Freeplay. Animators are the ones who breathe life into our characters and make them move, give them personality. And Tess is going to cover this in more detail as well. And we've got our visual effects artists, that's what VFX stands for. And they create dramatic in-game special effects. All your explosions, your fire, your smoke, your laser beams. Someone has to go there. And these are the effects that take things from being an object and they make it just seem so much more real and lifelike. It's the dust and the haze and all of that that makes it really feel like it's real. And this image in particular is pretty fun because this is taken from one of my favorite games, and I learned afterwards that this has actually been done by one of my good friends who I worked with at Firemonkeys. And that was a big aha moment because work in the games industry can be so much fun. You can work alongside people who've made games that you grew up playing and you don't even realize. And then you turn around one day and you speak about your experiences and you're like, oh my god, you made that game? I love that game. And yeah, that's really fun. Then we get on to the marketing team where we've got our graphic artists. These are some of the assets that we use to promote Need for Speed. Graphic artists will take elements from other artists within the studio and they'll create layouts, and it's more of a graphic design style job, and it's often more technical than creative because the art itself is already done, but it now needs to be presented in an enticing way to encourage other people to play. So these are assets made, for example, for social media. And then finally we get to what I do. So UI UX designers create the 2D interface above the 3D world inside of the game. And that's what UI stands for. It stands for user interface. So everything that you interact with, the buttons, the menus, the icons, the layouts, everything that animates in and out of a screen, all of those things that you usually take completely for granted and you don't even think about in a game, somebody makes those. And UX stands for user experience, which is how easy it actually is to navigate through a game from beginning to end. So UX is usually handled by the analytical side of your brain, and it deals with the way a player engages with the product. So when they open the game for the first time, as they learn how to navigate through it, up until the very end when they finish a game. I don't know if any of you have ever played a game where you've been incredibly frustrated. There's this one thing that you're trying to do and you just can't do it. Like you're trying to replenish your health or pick up a weapon or save. Something super, super simple in your head. I just want to do the thing, why can't I just do the one thing? That is a UX problem. So someone has to sit and analyze, like create the menus and the buttons and teach the players how to do these things. So it's basically just trying to make a game intuitive. And the UI, as we said before, stands for user interface. And that deals with the actual physical appearance of the product. So your buttons, your effects, your animations, all of the visual aspect, that's the UI. Have you ever clicked on a button in a game and it felt really rewarding? Like you press that button and it just feels really juicy? Or you open a loot box and it just feels really, really rewarding. All of those things are also done by the UI team. So it just makes things look nice and glossy and shiny. And there are lots of different ways to play games. So as a UX designer, you often have to ask yourself a number of questions. How is my audience going to be playing the game? Are they going to be, and when? Are they going to be playing it in short bursts on public transport? Or are you going to be nestled into the couch for a couple of hours? Are you going to be curled up in bed on your Switch before you sleep? These are all things that we need to take into consideration. Because different people play games differently. And you have to think, who is it that we're making the game for? Because a game for this person is going to be designed completely differently to a game for these people. And someone playing on a mobile is going to have a very different experience to someone playing on a console. So say you're the UX designer working on a game like Super Mario. You're the one in charge of controlling how people control the character using just a controller. So how does he move? How does he run? How does he jump? What buttons do I press in order to control that character on the screen? And designing for mobile is not the same as designing for console. When you design for a console game, you expect a person to put aside their entire lives and completely immerse themselves into a game for a couple of hours. Whereas when you design for mobile, you're designing for 10 to 20 minute bursts, for example, on the train, on the way to school. So whatever type of game that it is you're designing for, it's important to remember the user's playstyle. So when designing a game, always keep in mind where and when your user is likely to be playing. So as a UI UX designer, you're often trying to play what I call visual Tetris. You're trying to fit in all of this concept that the designers have created, and you're trying to fit it all onto one screen. And for a lot of games like The Sims, it's a very intricate UI, and everything that you do in this game is completely UI driven. And so it's a constant challenge to try and integrate new content as clearly and as efficiently as possible without overwhelming your player with too much information. So how does that happen? We start off with sketches, and often we'll have meetings with our designers and producers so that everyone aligns, quick little sketches, help get the initial ideas out, and then you start off with the UX designer hat on, and we create what are known as wireframes, or which we then use to create clickable prototypes. And wireframes are literally just that, they're just boxes on a screen. You do not need to be an artist to draw wireframes. In fact, there should not be any art in this, because you don't want people to focus on the colors or the characters or anything. What we're trying to do here is just design functionality. Where do I click? How many clicks does it take? How do I finish it? And if anything is strange or broken in the actual game loop mechanic, then this is where it gets worked on. And once that's done, then I get to put on my UI designer hat, and then I get to do high fidelity mockups. So I don't know if you can see, but the screens on the bottom are the exact representation of the wireframes. That's how it begins, and that's how it ends up. And then we put all this together in our layout programs, and we send it off to code, and code does code magic and makes it all work. And while the coders are doing that, we can then make all the icons and all the shiny things, all that little glossy, juicy stuff. And even if you're just making one single game, for example, a mobile game, as a UI UX designer, you still need to be taking into consideration things like aspect ratios. If a mobile game needs to be functional on a tablet and a mobile, and my phone is probably going to be a completely different size to your phone. So where are the buttons going to sit? How do we fit all of this information onto a screen that's this big as well as one that's this big? And can we collapse certain menus to make it work, or is the information going to scroll? These are all things that someone needs to decide. And I know that most people instinctively think of 3D art when they think of art in games, but when you play games next, take a moment to think about all the 2D things in that game as well. When you open it, can you immediately tell what kind of game it is? What's the mood that's being set? And maybe take a look at the buttons that are being placed. Are they easy to reach? What do the icons look like? Do all the menus make sense? Are you able to play this game from beginning to end without getting confused? Because if you're able to do that, and you're able to be completely intuitive, if everything feels natural, then that means that the UI UX designer has done a great job. Good UI and good UX should be ideally completely invisible. It's a thankless but important job. So, for those wanting more, you want to be an artist in the games industry? I don't blame you, it's pretty great. I get to play games, I draw pretty things, and I listen to music all day. And I get paid for it. Big word of advice, play a variety of games. Play lots of different kinds of games, not just the ones that you personally enjoy. And get good at a variety of different art styles. You're going to learn so much from different games, and you're going to have to practice getting good at lots of different things, because odds are when you work at a studio, you're not just going to be able to make your things, you have to work on someone else's game. So being able to adapt to different styles is incredibly important. And YouTube is amazing, but there are also a lot of skills that you can't just learn from YouTube, and particularly more practical things, industry-related skills and social ones. So studying is a very good idea. Have a look around at what universities require of you, and find a university that suits you specifically. What do they require of your portfolio? What do they offer, not just inside of the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well? As I said, portfolio related degrees will often need you to have a portfolio, so have a range of styles, show a breadth of skills. And if you already know specifically what it is you want to do, I'd probably recommend you go into a niche degree, so you specialize straight away. If you know you want to work with UI, get a graphic design or a multimedia degree. If you want to work in UX, so study the psychology behind how games are created, get a psychology degree. If you want to be a programmer, computer science degree, and so forth. If you want to be a concept artist, that requires a lot of technical skill and art theory and endless practice. So get good at lots of different styles again. And there are lots of online art courses on YouTube that will teach you so many things about all the technical art theory required to be a concept artist. And that's probably going to be more useful than, say, a fine art degree. And then there's lots of resources as well available on YouTube. There's a big conference, a game developers conference in San Francisco every year, which is the biggest conference in the world for the games industry, and it's called GDC. And they put a lot of their talks up on YouTube, and you can access these. These are the best developers in the world making all of your favorite games, and they get up on stage and they teach you everything. So those are all available online. And GCAP, which is Australia's equivalent of GDC, which Tony actually helped organise up until last year, they also put all of their talks up online. So all of us, we all have talks on YouTube from GCAP. Find those and use them. Free resources. Go learn. There are endless amounts of tutorials on YouTube as well. And then there are student discounts for everything. So make the most of being a student. There are so many programs that are free or discounted when you're a student. Grab as much as you can. And then start building your portfolio. One piece of advice I always say, 3 good pieces are always better than 10 average ones. Don't dilute your best work. And I know that sometimes you want to be like, look at all of these things I can make. But what actually happens is that all the best bits, they just get lost in everything. Get someone else to criticize your portfolio, not your mum. Someone who's able to judge you and be very critical. Your mum's going to love everything you make. So get someone who's able to be really brutal with you and pick out your 3 best things and just use that. And the best way to get portfolio pieces is to participate in game jams. For those of you who are over 18, there is something known as the Global Game Jam, and it's hosted, one of them is hosted in Melbourne each year. But for those under 18, there are lots of online game jams that you can participate in as well. And you can set up your own game jams at school. And if you want to chat to me more about what game jams are, you feel free to come grab me afterwards, and I'll be around. I'm more than happy to talk to you about that. And your future professional network starts right now with the people in this room. Start building your network. Find people that are interested in the same things as you. Find people that you work well with. And these are the people that you can start working with right now. Because in a couple of years' time, when you're all studying or starting work, These are the people who are going to be in the industry with you. And that brings me to the end. But before I open up for questions, feel free to reach out afterwards if there's anything you want to ask as well. If you don't really want to get here in a big room and ask questions in front of an audience, you're welcome to message me on Twitter. And I know people look at me funny when I say Twitter. They're like, really? Thanks, Grandma. But honestly, Twitter is so important for the games industry. And you can follow people that you admire on Twitter. You can follow anyone. And you find out what they're working on, you find out when they're recruiting, you can find different game studios that you enjoy, you can find out what studio's company culture is like, and you can message people and ask questions, and often developers will show you and teach you things about what they're working on. And I'm on there as well. You're welcome to find me and reach out and shoot me a message or a question there too. So, yeah. Do we have any questions? Straight away.
Sorry, I have a question about the art tab. Does that include acting? Alright, I have a question about the art tab. Does that include acting as in a whole, or like just as an individual job, as you were saying before?
I don't think I understand acting. Like,
Alright, I'm going to re-say it.
okay.
So, when you were talking about there was 4 types of businesses,
Yes.
you know how, like the art tab you were talking about,
The art.
is acting a part of that, like art tab, or like
Acting.
is it an invisible job, like you were saying before?
What do you mean by acting?
You would, like voice acting and script
Oh,
like
voice
that.
acting.
Yeah.
Alright.
So the question was, is acting part of those invisible jobs? So voice actors. And yes, absolutely. So things like our animation team. So on The Sims Freeplay, one of the things that our animators used to do is film themselves doing all the different animations so that they have references in order to imitate and do their animations of the different characters. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes with likeness capture, you can also get people to do mocap, is what it's called, when it's all the little bubbles and people act out the animations. That is a thing. Voice acting as well. EA has already, they've got lots of actors in the US that they've worked and recorded through the years, so that'll often, they'll collaborate with our audio engineers. And audio is always something that is often forgotten in games development. Never forget your audio. Audio is so important. So yes, absolutely.
How long does it take to do the UI?
Good question.
So the question is, how long does it take to do the UI and the UX of the game? And that is an impossible question to answer. It depends on how long you will allow me to do it. I can keep doing this endlessly. I can sit and push pixels back and forwards for the rest of my life because I'm a perfectionist and this is what I do. I look at details. But generally speaking, on The Sims Freeplay and on Need for Speed, for example, because it's a live service game, so we update every 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks we have to push an update, which means we're creating entire games every 6 weeks. And so it means that I have about a week to flesh out the wireframes and the prototypes of a feature, and then I've got a week to build all of the layouts, and then I'll have about a week to do what we call polish, which is basically just fixing everything up and making it look good. So different teams, if you're working on a console game, for example, and you're only going to work on something for 6 years, then obviously the UI for a big console game can take 6 years to do. So that depends completely on what kind of a game you're working on, what your platform is, and basically how much time you're willing to give me, because I will take all of the time that I can get.
Last question. Are there any girls who have a question? girls? Girls? No girls?
I am a girl.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Not a question. All right. There was a question here as well.
How would you normally deal with artist block?
That is a very good question. That is a hard question. As artists, we all suffer from crippling anxiety and we hate pretty much everything we create, which leads to artist block all the time. And for me personally, the best way to deal with artist block has been to browse a lot of inspiration sites. So just look at what other people are making and get inspired by other things. This also means that you get even more crippling anxiety because you see how talented everyone else is. But it helps to at least kind of get those creative juices going. But the most important thing that I have found is to ask my manager for direction. And it's always okay to ask for help. Reach out to someone else that you're working with and just ask them to organize your thoughts. Hey, I'm struggling because I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but I just can't figure out a way to do it. And usually they'll talk you through it. And often if I'm sitting and just twisting and twisting and twisting an issue, someone else, often my manager, will be able to just be like, there, that's it, right there. Stop criticizing, stop it. That one's fine, that's good. Shit. So yeah, just talk to someone else about it often is usually going to be the best way to get out of your own head. Great question. Thank you.
How good was that? That's a big special one, guys. All right, guys, we're going to get straight into the next session. Tim Best, but first, I want another big thank you, because that's one of the best sessions I've seen at Geek. Anna, thank you. Okay, come on up, Timmy. Tim Best is our next presenter. Tim's got a good one for us today. One of the things that ties games together. You know, what brings all the art, what brings the game engines, what brings the sound, what brings all the graphics in together. So he'll talk about that.